and down to the ground. Okay. This week will be a little bit more vigorous. There'll be a little bit more effort for what we have to do. And we're going to be focusing on the function of the breath today. So today's metric, everybody please come up to standing. Just going to be moving through some basic positions. Should put this over here. So just start from standing and then work your way down to kneeling. Then sitting. Lying down. Rolling over. Sitting up. Kneeling. And standing. And they're all fairly relaxed positions, right? So just make note of how you felt moving through all those different levels. Now we're going to add 2 more levels to this, which require a little bit of effort to hold. So standing, low squat, which it's okay if you can't make it all the way into a low squat with your feet flat. Just be aware of that. Maybe you have to bring one heel up, okay? Or maybe you have to have both heels up. Just be aware of that. Nothing wrong with it. And kneeling. Plank position. Belly, side, back. Sitting. Plank. Kneeling. Squat. Standing. Let's do that a few more times. So stand, squat.
Could you go a little slower, Pasquale?
Sure, but we're trying to grace through it a little bit.
Okay,
right?
no, because it's just following you on the screen, watching you anyway, never mind.
Oh, is it like is the video kind of
No,
delayed?
no, it's just like trying to watch you do it while figuring out where to put the laptop and anyway.
Oh, well then, yeah, don't watch me then. Just listen and follow the clues because you should follow the directions because the way I do it is going to be different from you too, right?
Okay.
You should work the way that your body works. Yeah. So standing, squatting, kneeling, sitting, lying down, rolling over, plank, kneeling, squatting, standing. Yeah, and Christopher mentioned that that's great feedback from Christopher because like I do want to mention that this is not a technical class, right? You're supposed to find your movement. Don't necessarily copy mine. Find the way that works for you with the most ease. Okay, I want you to do that a few more times, and please, if you can keep your video on, because I want to watch you guys, just go up and down to the ground 3 more times while I watch. Good. Okay. What did you notice? You can go ahead and unmute and Tell me, what did you notice? If anything. Was it hard? Was it easy? Were you trying to do it right?
Yeah, maybe from my side, I had some pain in the legs before. I got some dry needling today, and so I was surprised that it actually worked. So it's mostly my mind telling me out of fear, don't do these movements. But then if I actually do it slowly with breath, uh, it all goes pretty well. So that's was actually a nice feeling.
Good, good. Excellent. Yeah, do you have injuries? Do you have stiffness? Were you holding your breath? Did emotions come up? Did you start thinking and judging yourself? Okay. Anybody else want to share? Okay, let's move on then. Let's take a look at the function of the breath. Now, you can do this in any position. Standing, lying on the back, lying on your back. Just as long as it's a symmetrical position. You can even do it in a chair. Okay, and I'm going to do it in a chair because you'll be able to see a little bit better. Okay, so if you want to stand, kneel, or sit, go right ahead, or lie on your back. That's fine too. And we can go back to breath awareness. One hand on your chest, one on your stomach. And feel the effect that the inhale has on your chest and the exhale has on your stomach. And now we want to control the breath a little bit. Slow count of 6 in, slow count of 6 out. Through the nose only. And hopefully notice the expansion in the chest on the inhale and the contraction in the stomach on the exhale. It's the diaphragm going up and down. The diaphragm is not the only muscle that breathes, but it is the biggest one. And one thing I want to point out is just because the stomach is contracting does not mean that we need to collapse. In fact, when we're thinking about efficient movement, whether it's dance, martial arts, or just moving around the world, we don't want to contract and curl up very often. There is a time for it, like when you have food poisoning, right? Or somebody hits you in the gut, and then you're like, oh, it is good to curl up and protect the organs when something like that happens. But in general, if we're thinking about movement, right? The contraction happens, but I don't collapse, right? Maybe you could see this with the chair, right? Put a little. See the chest, and then there's that natural arch in the low back. And then when I exhale, the low back flattens. And everything relaxes. But I'm not doing this. Good. Now, say we take a count of 8. Okay, 8 seconds inhale, 8 seconds exhale. And it doesn't have to be 8 seconds, it could just be a count of 8. On 1, I expand in the chest. On 2, I start moving. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I reach the apex, but I'm still breathing on 8. Then I come down, exhale, my low back starts to flatten on 1, and then the arms move on 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm done moving and I'm still exhaling. This way the movement happens inside of the breath. This is a very therapeutic effect. This is not something that needs to happen all the time, but it is just one principle that I want you to examine today. So let's do that a few times, whatever position you're in. It could be standing, sitting, lying on your back, kneeling, whatever you like. Inhale, feel the chest expand on 1. Then the arms go up on 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Reach the top. 8. I'm still breathing. Then exhale. Low back flattens, and that brings the arms down on 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 8. Still exhaling. Do this a few more times, and you can play with trajectories. You could be in the front, out to the sides. You can interlace the fingers and come up this way. Try different ways to do it. I'm going to watch. Very good. Also try different positions. This was a favorite from last week. Inhale, chest expands. Exhale down. Keep on practicing. And those of you who were here last week, remember that we also did this with the legs. And lifting the legs is an exhale function. So exhale, the low back flattens, and that draws the knees up. It's all an exhale. And then the inhale expands the chest. And that pushes the legs back down. And you can do this with straight knees or bent knees, it's fine. Either way. You can go 90 degrees or over the head. Whatever feels good to you. Good. Finish the one you're on. And then come on up to standing. And take a look at the function of the legs as well, the exhale function of flexion in the hips. So I exhale and I squat. And I inhale and I come out. Still that slow count of 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I finish the movement, then 8. Still breathing. Inhale. Come out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Still breathing. Okay? You don't have to go all the way down. Just examine that motion. If going into a full squat is a little stressful for you, you can just work into a chair. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is how we start to apply it to real life, right? So every time I sit down, I can think about exhale function. Every time I get up, I can think about inhale function. It's getting that feeling. And if you're someone who doesn't have a low squat and you want to develop it, this is how you do it. Start with a chair, and instead of resting when you hit the chair, you just kiss it and you come back up. And you get used to that. Then you get a lower chair or a lower thing. Okay, so for example, I had this little bench. So now I can work my way down to the bench. Just kiss it and come back up. And you just keep making your target lower and lower, right? And the more you do this, the more you relax with the breathing, right? Instead of trying to do muscle squats, okay? If you want to get lower, you have to learn how to relax into the squat. And the other thing to watch is also your feet. So if your feet start turning out too much, you end up bending in or out too much, right? And then you can end up with some strain on the knees and some instability in the ankles. So really make sure the feet are solid and the outsides of the feet are parallel, and only work where you can keep good structure. Nice. Another way to work with your low squat, if you're developing strength, and I'm giving you guys all different types of options, work where you're at. Maybe you already have a low squat and you could just keep playing with that. But I could also use something as support. But I don't want to give it any more support to the chair than I actually need. So if I want to develop my low squat, just a little bit, right? I just need it at the end. But I want most of the work to come from the engagement in my body, okay? Not the support. If I start doing it like this, yes, I'll build up muscle, but I won't build up the movement. I'll just build up more tension in the body. See, very light. I did not have a low squat till I was 33. So it can be developed later in life. It just takes a lot of work. Okay, any position now, standing or, well, I just want you to be vertical. So you can be standing or sitting or kneeling. Any of those are fine. And bring your hands to your chest, heart center. Now, on the inhale, you feel the chest expand. And use that to open your hands And then exhale. Bring it back. Now, this is a vinyasa in yoga that is one of my favorites. The idea of inhaling and your opening is inhale has the function of bringing in, right? So I'm opening up as if like opening up for a hug. I'm opening up for the love of the universe. I'm bringing it in. And then the exhale is not to push it away, but to actually relax into it. Remember, on the exhale, we don't want to collapse. We want to relax. This way, both our inhale allows us to expand and our exhale allows us to expand. Now, please remember that feeling, because now we're going to do push-ups. Okay, and I'll show you modifications. I'm going to show you the hard one first. Don't worry, I'm going to give you modifications, because I know push-ups are not a fan favorite. So watch me first. Okay, you can use fists or hands, whatever you want. Just bring your arms naturally underneath the shoulders. Okay. And I want to find my root first. So my feet are in the root, my hands are in the root, and as if my hands and my feet are in the ground in like an inch of cement, and they're just solid. Now in between, I can move my shoulders, I can move my hips, I can move my knees. I'm not doing a muscle up. This is not a muscle push-up, okay? But I want to relax. Then I breathe and I allow my chest to expand. And I should feel some movement in my shoulder blades, my elbows, my wrists. And the inhale creates that expansion, pressurizes my hands, and then I just float up. And then go back down. I exhale, and I just float back down. Instead of muscle and tension, right? I'm stacking my bones. I'm using my inhale to float like a balloon and allow my elbows underneath my shoulders, and I just extend up. And then when I exhale, I'm just relaxing back down. Now it's okay to go knees, chest, chin. The inhale expands the chest, so the chin comes up. Then the knees. You want to organize yourself in such a way that you feel like you could do push-ups for an hour. Right? I'm just pushing myself off the ground. I'm not looking for a strength exercise right now. Just need to get up. Using that expansion of the inhale, slow count of 8 up, and exhale, slow count of 8 down. The movement happens inside the breath. So more modifications, okay? And these modifications aren't necessarily because you can't do a full push-up, but they're also their own exercises in and of themselves, okay? So you could use a wall, and it's going to be hard for you to see me on the wall, right? I don't know how that looks, but the wall works the same way. It's all the same. Inhale to expand, come up, exhale to go back down. You can also use a platform, chair, whatever it is that you want. Just find something that's stable, okay? Preferably not something with wheels unless you're really looking to challenge yourself, right? And like, look, I'm looking for the easy way to do this. Within each breath. So push-up could be theoretically done on anything. Nice. Joe's using his doorway. I love the father-son synchronized push-ups. Good. So if you did this with the breath, you should actually feel more energy afterwards, not less. You should not feel like you just wasted energy. Okay. Push-ups are very difficult. So does anybody have any questions before we move forward? Or observations? Anything they want to share?
I have a question. I'm not able to inhale at all as long as every time, like everything we're doing, my inhale runs out really fast.
Okay.
Like I'm out of inhale by halfway through whether I'm supposed to be raising my arms or doing the push up or, so I don't know if that just comes with practice.
Yes, and it's also an imbalance, right? That's also a good metric to understand that you have an imbalance with your inhale. So when we have too much inhale or too little inhale, that's one thing. When we have too much exhale or too little exhale, that's another thing. So one way, let's actually go to an exercise that will help you with that, because there's probably other people who are having that issue as well. It's actually breath holds. That's the other topic for today. So that might help you to even that out. Is anybody else having an imbalance in their inhale and exhale? Like one's too easy or one's too hard? Sorry, one's too fast or one's too slow? Kara? Yeah. Okay. So it doesn't really matter which one's too fast or too slow. We're about to rebalance them. Okay. So first thing we're going to do is, this is called burst breathing, and some of you who've been in my classes are familiar with this. It looks a little bit like hyperventilating, but it's not, because hyperventilating is something we have no control over. It's something we do when we don't have enough air and we're panicking and stress and all that. This is something we're doing to saturate ourselves with oxygen and kind of reset our nervous system a little bit. Okay, it's great for dealing with stress or preparing for stress. So I used to use this all the time when I lived in New York City, and I had to do like 4-floor walk-ups 3 or 4 times a day. And as I approached the stairs before walking up, I would do burst breathing, and then I would be saturated with oxygen. And when I get to the top of the stairs, I wasn't tired. Okay, I wasn't out of breath. I was breathing normal. So you don't want to do too much of this because you can make yourself lightheaded. So maybe 10 to 12 repetitions before you move on. And it just looks a little bit like this: in through the nose, out through the mouth, pushing with the lips, as fast as you can with control. Okay, so even if it's this slow, that's fine. Okay, I'm going to do it fairly quickly just to show you what it can look like with practice. And then long deep breaths, a little stretching. To bring yourself back down. Okay? So let's all do it together just once. In through the nose, out through the mouth quickly, as quickly as you can with control. If you don't have the muscles built up, it should be pretty slow. Okay? So go ahead, a few times. And then long, slow breaths, a little stretching. And just take a moment to bring yourself down before you go back to doing work. Okay, so that's one way to reset your breath.
Are you breathing through both your, are you breathing in through your nose and out your mouth or,
Yes.
okay.
Hmm. In through the nose, out through the mouth. I think in yoga they also call this breath of fire, and sometimes they do it. I can't remember what it is, but it's something like this where they bring the head up. It's something different. I like this because if I'm doing martial arts and I'm in it, or even if I'm dancing with somebody, I'm doing contact improv or something like that, where I start to get a little winded, I can keep moving with somebody, catch my breath, I relax, and then they relax a little bit, and then I can go back to breathing normally, right? So I've actually retrained myself, and you can do this too, that when I start to hold my breath, or I feel my breath out of balance, while I'm doing the work, I do burst breathing, and then I rebalance myself while I'm doing the work. I don't have to stop and recover. I can recover while I'm working. It's a really awesome thing. So it's just something to think about, like maybe you're at work and you're typing or you're dealing with something really stressful. Just take a second. So when the stress comes up, you start to retrain your mind and your body to, like, when I feel stress, I burst breathe. It's not a bad habit to develop, okay? At least in the beginning. There is a point where burst breathing can become something anxious. And I'm not going to get into that today, but that's just something to think about. Most of us don't breathe enough, so let's start breathing more, and then we'll worry about what happens when we do too much. The next thing is, if you have a tendency to hold your breath on the inhale, do breath holds on the exhale in order to rebalance that. Okay, so go in the direction of ease. If you tend to hold your breath on the exhale, hold your breath on the inhale in order to bring yourself back to balance. And you can also do holds on both. Okay, just do holds on both, and that will bring you back to center as well. Okay, let's do some breath holds on inhale first. We're going to start with 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds, along with recovery breath, okay, with the burst breathing, okay? Everybody cool? All right, so I don't care what position you're in, just make sure your spine is stacked. You can be sitting, you can be standing, you can be lying on your back. So take two or 3 seconds and get yourself into a comfortable position. Okay, somewhere you can stay for the next 2 or 3 minutes. All right, deep breath in. Deep breath out. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Breathe in about 80% and hold. Recover with burst breathing. Breath and stretch. Need to do a couple more, go ahead. All right. Now, I'm going to do 20 seconds. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. In. Out. In 80% and hold. And maybe some fear comes up. And as you feel that fear and you feel that tension, especially in the chest, relax. Relax the muscles, even though you can't breathe. Learn to relax into the suck. And burst breathe. Big breaths, big stretch. You can always wiggle it out, shake it out a little bit too. Sometimes I do this little thing to just kind of fall into the squat to kind of shake tension out of my body into the ground. It's one of my favorites. Okay. Last one for the inhale. We're going to do 30 seconds. Once again, when you feel the stress come up, and everybody here, if you're in good health, good cardio health, you can hold your breath for a minute. Everybody here most likely can. The problem is the fear that comes in from not breathing, right? So if you're not used to doing breath holds, it could be a very stressful thing. And this is a great way to like microdose stress in order to learn how to deal with stress in the long term. So as you feel that fear coming in and you really want to start breathing again, relax the tension in your shoulders, relax the tension in your chest, your stomach, your legs, send it all into the ground, okay? So deep breath in, deep breath out, deep breath in, deep breath out. Inhale about 80% and hold. Also relax the muscles around your eyes and your jaw. And relax everything you don't need. The only muscles that need to be tense are the ones that are holding the breath. And burst breathe. Big breath, big stretch. Need to shake it out, go ahead. Move around a little bit. All right. So now we're going to do the exhale. Exhale hold is more stressful and more scary than the inhale hold. Plus, we're going to do it for longer. We're going to do 15 seconds, 30 seconds, 45 seconds. And the reason I'm doing this is because this is a better place to examine your fear. If you can't make it, it's okay. Just burst breathe. Come out in a way that's deliberate, right? So if like you're like, I just can't take this anymore. I gotta start breathing. Just, okay, I'm coming out. I made it 30 seconds, that's enough, right? Like, come out with composure. Don't come out feeling like you failed, if that makes sense. Everybody cool with that? Makes sense? Good. All right. So that's one of the things I teach in my classes too, is like after you're done doing an exercise, don't be like, oh my God. Oh, I put in so much work. Then you start to attach a victim mentality to doing good work. I did good work and I suffered. That's good work. That's the American way. No. No, you want to feel better after the work. You want to feel that expansion, that power. But if you collapse after the work and you take on that, like, I just suffered in order to feel good, that's not a particularly good association you want to be making. Okay? Everybody cool with that? All right, so please pay attention to yourself. I can't go any further. Don't like, finally. Like, no. Be like, I had enough. I'll do better next time. Or maybe I won't, and that's okay too. Okay? All right, so deep breath in. Deep breath out. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. In. Exhale about 80% and hold. Relax into it as much as you can. And burst breathe, recover. Big breath, big stretch. Yeah, another way Joe's favorite way of relaxing the tension too is to make some vocalizations like oh, right sounds. They're really good for relieving tension as well. Okay, let's go in. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. In. Out. In. Out 80% and hold. Remember, actively work to relax the tension in your body. I'm making it bigger and more visible so you can see me doing it, so hopefully you want to do it too. But eventually you can be completely quiet and work on it on the inside. And burst, breathe to recover. Big breath, big stretch. I'm fully recovered, so I'm not doing any more, but you can do more if you like. This next round, you have two options. You can do it for 45 seconds, or you can do it for a minute. It's up to you. I'll tell you when 45 seconds is up. I'll tell you when a minute's up. Okay, it's up to you how long you want to do it. And as always, you can always tap out early if you want. Okay, so deep breath in. Deep breath out. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. In. Let out about 80% and hold. Actively work on relaxing your tension. Only tension you need is right here, holding the breath. The rest of the body can relax. It's 45 seconds. You want to end early? And that's 1 minute. Big breath, big stretch. We're going to do some sides or a little bit of falling squats. Just let it out. Go right ahead. And now, if you're struggling with your breathing during the exercises, go back to your exercises, either the push-up or the squat, okay? And see if the breathing is any easier. I remember Kara had a problem with the inhale, right? The inhale is a little too short. So see if you can extend your inhale or your exhale a little bit more. Whichever version you like of either exercise. Okay? Okay. Very good. So, was that any easier? Yes? No? Yes. Good. That's how we break. Yes, Joe, what's up?
Can I share some comments, or we wait on that?
If you have a question on the practice, yes. If you have comments, let's wait till the end.
Okay.
Cool. All right. So, three more exercises I want to show you really quickly. And you can all do these together. And then you're going to have a full workout that you can do between this week and next week. We already did leg raises, so you're familiar with the exhale function here, and then the inhale to go back down. So we're not going to do those right now. Instead, we're going to go over sit-ups. So a sit-up is it's hip flexion, but in the other direction, right? Hip flexion here for the leg raise. And sit-ups, and we're doing sit-ups where we just sit up. Okay, we're not doing crunches, right? This actually makes for weak psoas and really strong, tense abs. And tense abs I'm not a fan of because they start to do things to the organs in the body and then doesn't really help with hip mobility at all or with the psoas. So think about your legs being stuck in sand. Like if you've ever been to the beach and have the sand on your legs, or like they're in concrete. I like to think about concrete because it just feels more grounded for me. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to sit up, which is a lot more complicated than it sounds. Right? So what I want to do here is I don't want to be thinking forward, right? If I think forward, look what happens to my back. My back gets all crunched up, okay? Instead, I want to be thinking up. If I think about my mind going up, my eyes are going up to the ceiling, I stack my spine so much better as I come up. Okay, and this is exhale function. And this is going to require a lot more effort for most of you, so breathe out through the mouth, okay? Later on, you can worry about breathing out through the nose. If you feel more pressure in your body, you should breathe out through the mouth. Then to go back down, I can inhale to go back down. And with sit-ups, you can switch it too. I can exhale to go down, inhale to go up. And they have different qualities. That's something you can look into. But for the mechanics, this idea of going up, I also want to get out of my shoulders. The tendency is to do this, to reach my arms and like try to reach forward. So keep your arms in the sides, palms on the floor. Remember, you're casting your head, your gaze up to the ceiling. And these are here just to support, to make sure you keep your shoulders behind you. Your knees are going to bend a bit when you come up. That's okay. But the important thing is you have that feeling of the legs being grounded. Now, if your psoas is particularly weak, or this is just a completely foreign concept to you, that's okay. Rock yourself to the side a little bit. And come up on one side to start. This is a great exercise in and of itself. Remember, this is a breathing class, so this is not about building up tension in the body. It's about using the breath as the function to come up and down. So make sure the movement is happening inside the breath. Okay. Very good. Moving on. Now we're going to do some bridges. And you know, if you need to remember what we did here, you're going to have the video recordings after. So you can just go back and listen to the checkpoints again. Next is bridges. Now, I love the therapeutic yoga bridges where the inhale makes the chest expand, the arms go up, and the hips go up, and everything hits the top at the same time. And then exhale, everything comes down at the same time. I like this because I have a tight chest, and this really opens up my pecs. But if you like, you could also just do the hips. Okay. So now I just gave you all one of the most adaptable and diverse exercises you could possibly do, exercise regimens that you could possibly do on a day-to-day basis. Push-ups, sit-ups, leg raises, squats, right? You can also add pull-ups too, but I don't have a pull-up bar in here that I could show you. You could also practice pull-ups in a doorway or with a door. I'm not going to go over these in detail today, but you can practice it squeezing into a door or a doorway, and then leaning back on your heels, keeping everything stiff, and just pulling yourself forward, squeezing. So that's one way to work on your pulls without gear. Okay? Problem is, you have to do a lot of them in order to get any type of a workout, because it's not a whole lot of body weight. So now, thinking about these exercises, here's a couple different ways you could do it. And I think I've gone through these with Christopher before too. This could be a daily practice for you. So one thing you can do is just do 5 of each exercise, right? So I could do 5 squats with the breathing at whatever level you're at, right? And then 5 push-ups at whatever level. 5 sit-ups. 5 leg raises. 5 bridges. You know, 5 is just the number that I'm throwing out there. You could also do several different sets of that too. So then I can go back to squats and do squats again as well. And you've just worked on all the muscle, all the strength you'll ever need to do day-to-day functional movement. Okay? And then after you do that, go up and down to the ground a little bit. Right? Going up and down to the ground. Here's my sit-up. Right? Here's my squat. Here's my push-up. If I want, I can add a bridge. Start making it a little fancier. Start to do more of a lunge. But everything's happening within the breath. I'm not doing a good job of it because I'm talking, but you get the idea, right? So this is your homework, if you choose to take it, is do 5 of each exercise with the breathing inside of the breath, and then go up and down to the ground a few times. And if you want, you can go up and down to the ground first and just see what you feel like. Then do the exercises, then go up and down to the ground again and see how it changed. That could be a great daily practice, and it could take anywhere from 5 minutes to 20 minutes or half an hour. You can do it for an hour. Sometimes we do this for an hour in Sistema. We just do basic exercises continuously with breathing for like an hour at a time. Also, that's basically what yoga, a good vinyasa yoga class would be as well. So you're just breathing and doing basic movements for a good hour. Same thing with certain types of qigong. So if you understand this principle of being able to put your movement inside of your breath and scaling it, you can add this to any exercise and make any exercise better. Even running, right? Even running, lifting weights, any of it. And when you start to feel pressure build up in your system, so for example, say I did too many exercises and I feel like I can't keep my breathing and my push-ups, right? Like I'm struggling. I recover, and then I can keep going, right? So I can recover while I'm working out. I don't have to take a break. This is how you can do it for an hour and not get tired. And actually after the hour, you feel loose, you feel open, right? But if you're trying to use strength without efficiency, without economy, and without breathing, you're just going to build up a lot of tension. You're going to be tired. You're going to get the lactic acid. You're going to need a day or two to recover. But you can do this every day, all day long, if you learn how to economize your body. So that's the lesson for today, because we're about out of time. I'm happy to take questions and chat and hang around for about 10 more minutes if anybody wants to share their experience or ask questions.
What is the ultimate goal of this? Is it basically to be able to work more, well, I guess you said work more efficiently, that you're relaxing as opposed to being, stressing your body?
Yes, all of the above.
Okay.
Economy. So like breathing has an effect on every system of your body, right? Like
Okay.
everything, your digestion, your nervous system, your cardiovascular system, your musculoskeletal system. Everything can be controlled by your breathing. So within this, like if you can control your breathing, you can start to change how you think. You don't just change how you move, you change how you think. You change how you organize your body. You can change your efficiency, your stress levels. You manage your stress much easier. Like I rarely get angry. I can't. It's amazing like how much it would take to actually get me mad, because it's just breathing all the time. It just keeps you relaxed. So it's one of those things that just makes everything better. Like if there's one thread to pull on that makes everything in your life healthier, more balanced, and better, it's definitely breathing, for sure. In this class, I'm trying to get you to not just see it as an exercise, but also to see it as something you can do in your day-to-day life as you're doing everything. Because if you just compartmentalize your exercise and your health to like one little regimen a day, say you put 30 minutes aside every day to work on your health, right? Work out, go for a run, swim, whatever. You put 30 minutes aside a day to do that. What are you doing for the other 23 and a half hours of the day?
Sleeping, eating.
Right. You're ignoring your health for the rest of the day. You're trying to undo it in 30 minutes. How are you going to undo that? What you do all day long is the thing that creates your health. It's not that 30 seconds of trying to relieve yourself of stress. So instead of giving into the stress, like one of my favorite things is just how do I get in and out of a chair? Do I get in and out of a chair like, right? Or like, am I like unaware of the chair? Do I like miss it? Like, where's my mind? Where's my presence with this, right? And the breathing is the thing that brings me back, right? Or am I sitting like this all day, right? Or whatever it is. I'm not aware of what I'm actually doing to my body. Whatever I do is going to create a structure. So instead of like just being completely unaware, how do I get in and out of my chair? Do I prepare? Do I suffer because I have to get up? Do I suffer because I have to go down? No. I breathe. I'm light. Like, am I afraid of going down to the floor? Like when was the last time, like, you can ask a 20-year-old when was the last time they're on the floor. Most of the time they're all sitting at computers. They can't go up and down to the ground. Even like some of the young kids that I worked with, like 2nd and 3rd grade, had trouble going up and down to the ground because of the way life is. But everybody's going to fall down. Every single one of you are going to fall down at some point. You're going to slip on some ice, you're going to trip over something, and you're going to fall. What's your relationship with the floor? if I want that to be relaxed and safe, I have to breathe. If I go down and I don't breathe, it hits me. And then you can start to think about how that applies to psychology as well. So if you tell me something that I don't want to hear, and I hold my breath, and I hold my righteousness, I get hit. Rather than, okay, that's your opinion. That's fine too. Right? Is this making sense?
Yeah.
Here. Sorry, it's long-winded. Any other questions, Jeffrey?
No,
Okay.
I mean, it just seems like it's there's a lot of different techniques out there, like Qigong, Feldenkrais, and it seems like the whole thing is to make you um, more relaxed, and part of that is breathing, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But that seems to be the ultimate goal, to relax so you don't get tense and get pains and things like that, and you're able to move better.
Yeah, yeah. It's also pain management too. I do a lot with pain management and massage therapy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, and I've done all the things that you talked about, and I have certifications and credentials on a lot of the things you just mentioned.
Uh-huh.
And the thing that ties them all together is the breathing. Like, regardless of which system you're looking at,
Right.
every single system you need to breathe.
Yeah. Well, you need to breathe in general, but
That's why I'm doing this
it's how
class.
you breathe.
If you learn to breathe, it doesn't matter what system you're doing, you'll be fine. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, good question. Joe, I think you had something, right, buddy?
Yes, like 30 minutes ago. Sorry. Anyway, this afternoon I went swimming and it was really great. And I do swim regularly. But what I've never thought about, so one or two times during my swim, I always, just per tradition, I do 25 yards, sometimes 35 or 40 yards on one breath, and I just go and I come. And it's more of a sort of a very slow release of the air. What I've never really thought about well, I guess no, I just haven't. Is I never thought you mentioned earlier about fear and about again, I had the words a while ago. You mentioned something about fear and about holding your breath and tension, and I can't really put it together now. But when I'm in that water, I don't really think about. I just okay, I'm gonna go do a lap, and it could be the beginning, could be the end, but it's usually somewhere in the middle. And I go under and I do a couple. I mostly just swim. I don't actually paddle much. I mean, I'm just like, this is one and then back. But I never thought of it. What I'm asking you is, we're talking about fear, as I recall, in the breath and holding it. Reiterate that, and I want to see. I can't remember doing it when I'm swimming though, like when I'm underneath the water or diving down if I'm in like an area where I can swim deeper.
Yeah. So
but go ahead.
There's a relationship between fear and holding the breath.
Mm-hmm.
So if we hold our breath for too long, the body starts to panic, right? It gets tense, starts to worry, what am I going to do, right? I need to get more in, or I need to let this out so I can keep breathing again, okay? And if you ever see somebody who's afraid, or if you've ever felt afraid, which I'm sure everybody has, like viscerally afraid, like you're about to like go down in a roller coaster, or something's about to happen, somebody's about to hit you in a car, you freeze, right? And in that freeze, if you're about to get hit, you usually take it's usually an inhale hold. So I'm ready for something to happen. This way I have air in, I'm ready to like fight. I'm ready to move. I'm ready to do something. There's an anxiousness. Like this is like probably what you would do if you had to swerve out of the way of somebody who's about to hit you. Okay. Most likely it's an inhale hold. Not always, most likely. An exhale hold and the fear that comes in, the fear of not getting enough, right? Right? Or having something taken away from you. This is like getting, kicked in the stomach, right? Or this is usually something that happens after like a fall. Like you fell down, you get the wind knocked out of you. Anything that has that particular type of personality, like somebody insulted you in a way that you feel you took it personally and like now you're under threat. That will be an exhale hold type of quality, if that makes sense. And we can look at the personality of inhale and exhale, which I haven't really gone into in this class, where the inhale has to do with our ability to take in, and the exhale has to do with our ability to expel what we don't need, right? But there's also like the lower, I'm not forming this properly. I'm describing this properly, but did I answer your question yet?
Well, you did, but I think my take home about this is that I'm not. There's no in the pool or in like when I'm in a lake or the ocean. This is not usually anything that frightens me
Mhm.
or like triggers me. Therefore, sort of it doesn't apply. Maybe is the point.
Right. There's a link, but you're not necessarily going to feel fear because you're holding your breath.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
kind of doesn't apply, but it still is. It was interesting. All right. Thank you. All right. Bye.
Yeah. It's another idea too. Like you can hold the breath to make yourself more powerful. So I can inhale, hold it. Now you actually feel pretty powerful and ready to move, right? So there is an idea of that as well. Okay. Anybody else?
I was just wondering why we held on 80% instead of the full.
So you could do full exhale, but it's also a lot more stressful. And physiologically, sometimes your body will take over and just make you do it again. So if you exhale everything out, it's really stressful. So I was easing you guys in. You can practice that way, and you can keep scaling this too. In martial arts class, we'll hold on the exhale while we have 3 people on top of us. So 3 people will lay on top of you. And I've done this with guys over 200 pounds. I'm only like 150. And I've had like 3 200-pound guys on top of me, on my chest, on my face, on my legs. And I have to hold my breath and do this exact same exercise we just did to recover and relax into that position. So you can keep scaling the level of stress, if that makes sense. You can have somebody twist your arm and make you feel pain, and you have to relax into it as well. So you can just keep making it harder and harder and harder. What I did was the entry level today.
You did say that you're going to send us a video or a link for a video for today?
Yes, I'm going to send you guys the link for today's Zoom.
Cool.
Yeah.
Because I didn't sign up. Did you got my email? That's fine. Thanks.
And next week, tomorrow or Wednesday, I'll make a video of all the exercises we did the first week because I wasn't able to record that, and I'll share that as well. So you have the first week. Anybody else?
Does each week build on the prior week, or is every lesson independent?
So for this series, this is a free series of an intro to these concepts. These are all just intro exercises. So yeah, we are building for this for the first 3 weeks. Then when I'm offering like the paid coaching class starting in February, which will be a 6-week series, that will be scaled and we will build, but we'll also do it in the context of the people in class. So it will be more of a coaching program and applicable to the goals of the participants.
And that will be online?
That will be online, yes. There's an online version and there's an in-person version. So both Joe and Christopher have been in my in-person classes here in Durham. Those are Monday nights at 6:30.
And Sebastian.
And Sebastian too, yes. So it'll be Monday nights, 6:30 at Durham Friends Meeting. And then Tuesday nights will be the online version, starting in February.
Okay.
I'd highly recommend it.
Thanks.
Yeah, we have a good time.
Yeah, I'm not local, unfortunately.
Uh, yeah, and we do a lot of movement games and partnered exercises and stuff like that in person. Yeah.
Yeah, online, I'm assuming it's going to be somewhat
How
different.
did you learn about us,
Person.
Mr. Weiner?
What's that?
How did you learn about us?
Oh, I actually I live in New York, and I worked with Pasquale when he was
Oh,
here in New York, and I get
yes.
emails, and this is the first time I think, or maybe I don't know, maybe you've had online um,
Got it.
things before, but this is the first one that I've attended.
Yeah.
Yes, he's told us
Been a number of years.
He's told us some of the New York stories.
Okay.
I haven't done anything online since COVID, so this is my first online thing.
Oh, everybody was doing things online during COVID.
Yeah. Okay, anybody
Can I
else?
can I offer one piece of feedback? Just like this is your trying to figure this out. So I'm more of a visual processor than an auditory processor.
Mhm.
So that like you'll notice I was moving my laptop around the whole time, and that's because I mean it's just easier for me to see. I mean I can listen too, but in general I it's easier for me to process information looking at what you're doing rather than hearing what you're doing. So I think that's just one thing to keep in mind when you're developing an online class, that some people need that visual input to really process, what you're doing on the screen.
Mm, cool. Yeah, I'm trying to. Yeah, if you have any other ideas on that as well, as like, because I'm trying to get people to not copy me, but also work on themselves, like to get more into their own movement.
I don't think it's so much about copying, but even when you say like go to the ground or you give something a direction like that, like sometimes it's just easier for me to understand what you're saying when I see you doing that necessarily in the exact same way.
Mm,
When or maybe if you're doing audio instruction, making it a little more, providing a little bit more information, um, that could also be helpful.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good. Thank you. Oh, thank you, Anna. Did you want to say anything before you go? No? Okay. Anybody else? Everybody gonna go? All right. Have a good night, everybody. I'll see you next week.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, guys.